Title: Love in Airplane Mode. Lucia was convinced that airplanes were her nemesis. Not only did they scare her, but they seemed to bring chaos into her life. Her worst experience so far had been when a child vomited on her on a flight to Cancun. But nothing prepared her for what was about to happen on her trip to Madrid. Upon boarding the plane, she discovered her seat next to an irritatingly perfect-looking man, a neatly trimmed beard, light eyes, and a smile that screamed, "Heartbreaker." Lucia didn't believe in love at first sight, but something about him made her stomach turn. "Hello?" the man said, his voice sounding like an expensive perfume commercial. "Hello," Lucia replied, trying not to sound affected. "I'm Martin." "Lucia." They shook hands, and an electric shock ran down her arm. Great. Now, in addition to enduring the flight, she had to deal with a possible emotional breakdown. Everything was going well until they announced there would be turbulence. Lucia closed her eyes and gripped the armrests so tightly, her knuckles turned white. Martin looked to her with a mixture of amusement and concern. "Fear of flying?" "No, not at all," she lied. "I just enjoy going into statue mode when things shake at 0 meters. Martin laughed. "If it's any consolation, airplanes are very safe. You're more likely to get hit by a coconut than this flight crashing." "Thanks. Now I'll be afraid of coconuts too." The turbulence worsened, and without realizing it, Lucia grabbed Martin's hand. He didn't let go. "Breathe," he whispered. "We'll be okay." When the shaking stopped, Lucia realized she was still holding him. She immediately let go of his hand, feeling her cheeks burn. "Sorry, I don't usually hold hands with strangers." "Well, if you want, we can stop being strangers," he said with a playful smile. "Shall we get to know each other better before you grab my hand again during the next turbulence?" Lucia laughed and nodded. For the next few hours, they talked about everything: travel, music, books, and the most absurd things, like why airplane seats always seem designed to torture passengers' backs. They discovered they both hated raisins in sweet bread, that they both believed 90s movies were the best, and that they shared an obsession with coffee. When the food was served, Lucia tried to open a packet of butter and, in the process, ended up with the substance spread on her blouse. "Perfect. Now I look like fried chicken." Martin laughed so hard he almost spilled his coffee. "Let me help you," he said, handing her a napkin. "Although I must say, the sparkly look looks good on you." "Haha, very funny." The flight was filled with laughter and unexpected confessions. By the time they announced their landing in Madrid, Lucia felt like she'd known Martin her whole life. "Hey, do you believe in signs?" he asked. "It depends. If fate wants me to win the lottery, then yes." "Well, I think this flight was a sign. Maybe it wasn't just a coincidence that they sat us together." Lucia felt a knot in her stomach. She wasn't ready to fall in love with someone she'd probably never see again. "So what do you propose?" she asked cautiously. Martin took out his phone and wrote something on a piece of paper. He handed it to her. "This is my number. I don't want to force you into anything, but if you want this story to continue, just send me a message when you land." Lucia took the piece of paper and put it in her bag. When she got off the plane, she felt the urge to write to him immediately, but she decided to wait. Hours later, while unpacking her suitcase at the hotel, she found a piece of paper with Martin's number on it. She looked at it for a few seconds, bit her lip, and, with a smile, typed a message. "Successful landing. What's our next adventure?"